After doing various experiments with urine over the past 7 years in these plots out in kind of the meadowland by our house, I think it's time to pull up stakes on some of the earlier plots I did that I don't think I'm getting much more useful observation info on, and stop my ongoing observation of these plots. Though the birds will miss these stakes, they like to perch on them, I want to let this kind of go back to a non-observational area. Not that I don't have plans for future urine experiments, but it's not going to be in these areas. I will continue to observe some of these plots for a while so that if I think there's still useful information to be gathered, I will be aggregating and summing up what I've learned from these field plots throughout the rest of this video. In Site B, which I applied urine to in 2017, 2018, and 2019, the differences in the plots is still noticeable, with the taller reed canary grass in both the heavy and lighter fertilization plots. The grass appears similar to how it looked previous years, where it was allowed to grow to full height, both during and after active fertilization, though maybe not quite as dominant. Though the initial results in Site C, where urine was applied in 2017, 2018, and 2019, was similar to Site B, with tall reed canary grass becoming the primary grass in the fertilized plots, that has not persisted, with the species compositions returning to a mix and the previously fertilized plots not standing out from the control. I observed the start of the reverting back to original the summer after I stopped applying urine to the plot. Compared to Site B, this site can get a lot wetter, often with surface water flow over the ground during rain events. In Site D, which I applied urine to in 2018, I can't see any differences in the plots. This is despite a dead spot developing in the heaviest fertilized on both these plots that year. That dead spot did regrow back to grass within the summer of 2018, not a persistent one. In Site E, with urine applied in 2019, I think I see differences between the plots, each distinct between heavy, light, and no fertilization. Though I have convinced myself I can see a difference between the plots, it is only minor. I did not see any differences in this plot since some previous summers post-fertilization, and the differences are not distinct enough for me to be certain they are there, and they don't seem to necessarily have a benefit to the fertilized plots or a detriment. There just seems to be a difference. Site F, where I applied water in 2020, I never saw anything convincing that the water caused any changes in grass growth, and the plots still do not appear to have been altered by my experiment. Site G, with urine applied to the short grass in 2021, the dead spot in the first round of fertilization is still evident, even 2 summers later, though more is beginning to regrow in it. I think that I see some difference in the grasses in the second 100% fertilization plot I did that year, but I can't be certain about it. What I think I see is an increased level of dead brown grass in that area compared to the other ones, though the amount of living grass seems about the same. The beneficial effects of the fertilization went away quickly, and other than that dead area, I can't see any differentiation in the plots. Site H, where I applied urine in the winter of 2022, has continued to exhibit odd behavior, though the middle plot which I applied distributed appears to have grown back from its initial die-off. The plot where I applied dumping has a larger than normal amount of dead grass, but out of the plot area just downhill of that exhibits the same behavior, so my guess is that it is unrelated to the experiment. I intend to continue the monitoring of this site along with Site I to see if more develops with these. Site I, with urine applied this last winter, I don't believe is continuing to show any difference between the plots. They appear to have all returned to normal grass over the summer. I think while I did fertilize it and saw results, I limited it enough not to be harmful to the grass, and without continued application, the grass equalized. Overall conclusions are that it appears that the direct fertilization goes away quickly, but lingering consequences can stay for a long time. I believe most of the fertilization that I've done in the field plots has been too much for the grass. That heavy fertilization seems to have favored specific species over others.
So you were using uncomposted urine. I thought it needed to sit in a container for a few weeks.
I'm applying fresh urine the day after the night it was excreted. Prior to this comment, though I hadn't not done very much research, I had not heard about letting urine age or composting it. I doubt urine would compost in the same way we think of solids composting, not that there wouldn't be microbial activity changing the composition of it. That's what sewage treatment plants do, particularly if it was seeded.
When did you apply fertilizer? At daytime or nighttime?
Most of the time for the tall field grass plots, the urine would be applied before 9 a.m., though occasionally it might be later. However, for the specific video that this comment was on, the short grass, that was often later. This was due to the increased amount of work that mixing and like bringing multiple loads out required, which meant I would generally only do it on the weekends, and it just wasn't as convenient early on. This was not something I stayed consistent on or tracked, though it could make a difference. Each time the urine was applied in 2021, it was at the same time of day between all the plots.
What part of the country do you experiment from?
All of my urine fertilization experiments have been conducted in the northeastern portion of Vermont in the US. To answer what another question had hinted at, the soil around here is very heavy clay, as this valley where our house is used to be a glacial lake with the clay settling out. The bedrock around here is also very calcium rich, which is beneficial to the growth of some plants.